So starting April 2021, I bought 10 FMETF shares every Wednesday, and as of the recording of this video, I was able to accumulate 230 shares. Pero for 2022, I canceled my automatic buy orders every Wednesday. And in this video, I will discuss what I learned and what I plan to do. Itong discussion natin will revolve around my Peso Cost Averaging experience for FMETF. Pero the good news is, I will also share some of my investment plans for 2022. So para dun sa mga hindi pa familiar kung ano nga ba yung FMETF, relax lang kayo kasi I will give you a brief summary later. Pero for now, I think everybody would benefit from this first improvement that I will implement this 2022, which is to follow the 8K rule. So yung 8K rule is an unwritten rule in trading and investing in the Philippine context. Matagal ko nang alam yung 8K rule and I've been using it for the past few years in my past trading activities, except for one scenario, pero more on that later. 8K rule is basically for every buy transaction, your minimum amount should be 8,000 pesos. This is because meron tayong taxes and fees na binabayaran, such as broker's commission, VAT, PSE transaction fee, SCCP fee, and sales tax. I don't need to discuss each one, pero the most important thing is the broker's commission, which is 0.25% or 20 pesos, whichever is higher. Let's look at this table, guys. For the invested amount of 8,000 pesos and below, ang broker's commission mo ay 20 pesos. But take a look at the percentage. Kung 1K lang ang capital mo, then 2% of that ay napupunta lang sa broker mo. This trend continues until your buy transaction is above 8,000 pesos. Yes, the face value of the broker's commission increases, 21.25 pesos for 8.5K, 22.5 pesos for 9K, and 23.75 for 9.5K. But the important thing is 0.25% lang lahat yan. So before I forget guys, nag-compile ako ng mga unwritten rules in trading and investing. So kung meron kayong masishare na nakatulong sa inyo in your journey, feel free to comment it down below. Kung marami tayong na-compile, I will create a separate video and make sure to give you the credits. Back to the video. So to summarize the 8K rule, yung general consensus is kung mas mababa pa sa 8,000 pesos yung capital mo right now, then it would be better if i-save mo muna or dagdagan mo muna kaysa naman bumili ka na ng stock right now. Anything less than 8,000 pesos is not efficient kasi nga nagbabayad ka ng 2% at most to your broker. And again, as I said at the beginning, ginagawa ko na tong 8,000 pesos for my regular swing trading, except for one scenario, which is the PCA strategy for FMETF. I have been buying FMETF every Wednesday with a budget of 1,000 to 1,500 pesos. Pero for 2022, I will change my strategy to buy FMETF every month. Okay, so as promised, kung beginner ka pa lang, madali lang pong maintindihan ng FMETF. In 30 seconds, you will be able to explain this to another person. Sa stock market po ng Pilipinas, meron tayong top 30 companies. We refer to them as the PSE Index or the PSEI. Now, instead na bibilhin mo isa-isa yung 30 companies na to, meron tayong convenient investment that lets you buy all of these companies in just one transaction. Ang tawag doon ay isang ETF or Exchange Traded Fund. And in the Philippines, isa lang po yung ETF na available sa atin, which is FMETF. Alright, so gets mo na yung FMETF. From a previous video where I revealed my entire investment portfolio, sinabi ko rin doon na hindi ako confident sa exposure ko with FMETF, kumbaga kulang pa para sa akin. That's why I plan to add more and this is what I plan to do. Okay, recap muna tayo. Yung PCA strategy ko for FMETF is to buy 10 shares every Wednesday. The price in the past or for almost 2 years has been trading for more or less 100 pesos. So that means my budget every week is around 1,000 to 1,500 pesos. And that's a red flag kasi nga it violates the first point that we discussed, which is the 8K rule. So nung sinet up ko yung EIP for FMETF para automatic na siyang bumili every Wednesday, nagkulang ako sa pagpaplano. Therefore, I was paying 2% as broker's commission instead na 0.25% lang. Kaya naman I learned from this mistake, which is crucial kasi dapat matuto tayo from our mistakes. We need to make these mistakes early in our career, in our investing journey. Kaya naman for this year, I will change my PCA schedule from 1,000 pesos every Wednesday to at least 8,000 pesos every month. So obviously, tataas yung overall monthly budget ko for PCA and I will need to adjust accordingly. Baka mabawasan na yung number of trades ko in my regular swing trading activities. Pero we'll see.
Huwag kayo iiyak.
Hindi pa final yung actual budget and actual schedule for this PCA. Pero that's the beauty of this strategy, of the PCA strategy, because you can adjust it according to your needs. You see guys, I follow the formula income minus savings equals expenses. And if we expand this formula, yung savings part, it becomes investment and personal savings. And to give you more context, I set up an automatic debit system from my payroll account to my stockbroker, which is AAA Equities. Every 15th and 28th day of the month, automatic na nagto-transfer ng 30% of my income papunta dun sa stockbroker. Bago ko pa magastos for my bills and for my other expenses, I make sure to meet my target savings rate every month. This way, hindi rin nakaka-guilty to spend once in a while on my personal wants kasi na-meet ko na yung savings and investments. And speaking of my savings, the third change I want to implement is to focus more on my savings rate instead of my investment returns. In 2021, nag-set ako ng sky-high financial goal for myself. More specifically, by the end of 2021, my plan was to double my stock's worth. That means kung 10,000 pesos yung capital ko during January 2021, dapat 20,000 pesos na siya by December. But going back, to make sure na hindi ako ma-overwhelmed by that goal, I broke it down to monthly goals. And after breaking it down every month, I realized that if I just continue injecting capital every 15th and 28th day of the month, hindi ko ma-achieve yung goal ko by December. So after that, kinalculate ko yung minimum growth rate that I need to achieve every month to supplement the capital injection na ginagawa ko twice a month para lang ma-achieve yung December goal ko. And that number turns out to be 3%. So to recap lang, in order to double my stock's worth by the end of December 2021, I had to add 30% of my salary plus grow monthly by 3%. Kung sa tingin mo 3% per month is easy, 12 months in a row, nako, edi paturo naman idol. Isa kasi sa mga pinakamahirap na gawin sa trading is being consistent. Sometimes I win, sometimes I lose. Kaya naman po for 2022, I need to make better decisions by managing my risk better, by making use of the risk-reward ratio. In investing and trading, the reality is there is no such thing as a guaranteed return or a 100% win rate. But what we do have is RRR or risk-reward ratio. Simple lang to, you only need 3 ingredients: entry price, take profit price, and cut loss price. Before I show you how to compute for RRR, I need to emphasize that you need all of these 3 prices before you make a trade. Research ka muna ng gusto mong bilhin na company or na stock, determine these 3 prices, and then we can calculate RRR. Hindi maganda na bibili ka lang kasi you know your entry price, tapos wala kang exit criteria, which can only be one of 2 things, either na-meet na yung take profit level mo or stop loss level. Maraming ways to determine these prices, depende kung day trader ka or swing trader or long-term investor. So for now, let's assume na determine mo na yan and let's calculate for the RRR with this example. Entry price 10 pesos, take profit price is 15 pesos, and stop loss or cut loss price is 8 pesos. Step 1 is to calculate your risk or how much you will potentially lose if mahit yung stop loss or your cut loss price. So 10 pesos minus 8 pesos is 2 pesos. That's your risk. Next step is to calculate your potential reward naman if mahit yung take profit price. So 15 minus 10 is 5 pesos. That's your reward. Final step, divide your potential reward or your potential profit by your potential loss. So 5 over 2 is 2.5. That's your RRR. This value is good for me kasi yung rule of thumb is anything above 0.3 RRR is good enough. Example number 2, 20 pesos entry price, 22 pesos TP price, and 12 pesos cut loss price. So again, RRR is dividing the potential profit by the potential loss. So 2 pesos divided by 8 pesos equals 0.25, which is lower than the threshold or the minimum of 0.3. Kung ganito yung makalculate kong risk-reward ratio, sa akin lang ha, I'm not telling you to do this because we have our own strategy, we have our own risk tolerances. Kung makuha ko yung 0.25, I have 2 options. One option is to raise my cut loss price. So instead na 12 pesos, pwede ko siyang itaas para tumaas din yung RRR. In other words, I will take less risk. Or the second option is to not go through this trade at all. Hindi ko na lang itutuloy, hanap na lang ako ng ibang stock, research na lang ako ng better opportunity. Investing is simple, but it is not easy. Sometimes, the only way to improve is to make mistakes and then to learn from them. Pero sometimes din, kahit matuto tayo, merong mga bagay na outside of our control, like the reliability of my first broker. Para dun sa PCA strategy for FMETF, ginamit ko yung EIP Nicole Financial or Easy Investment Program. Automatic buying system siya, pero it's not perfect. Sometimes it doesn't work at all, and chinek ko kung may pera pa ako dun sa account ko, and meron naman. So the problem problem is not on my side. The problem is on their system. Anyway guys, my point is the call financial system is too old or too legacy. Totoo na it is the best broker for beginners. Stepping stone siya para sa mga gusto matuto ng stocks. Pero actually, yung GCash, G-Invest, pwede na rin siyang beginner friendly. Except mutual funds lang siya. Wala siyang stocks for now. Anyway, the worst part is, I think call is aware of the many complaints that they receive. Pero I don't get any sense of urgency from call na this is a legitimate problem. And ito rin yung reason why I opened another account with another broker, which is AAA Equities. Kasi instead na magreklamo lang ako tapos wala akong gagawin, edi mas productive naman siguro kung magbubukas na lang ako sa ibang broker nga. The second learning is PCA every week is too frequent. The price of FMETF is too volatile, especially pag nagkakaroon ng bagong lockdown or bagong variants, nagkakaroon ng surges. But that is not the problem by itself. Kung maalala nyo, ang beauty ng PCA is that it does not care about short-term volatility or short-term price fluctuations. The problem is, yun nga, I need to follow the 8K rule. The third realization is I need to stop thinking about my end goal for my FMETF PCA strategy. Kasi yung investment horizon ng PCA is usually very, very long-term. As in decades pa bago tayo makakita ng gains. It's good to accumulate now habang bata tayo tapos isustain lang natin yan for years, for decades. Pero don't expect to buy now tapos mag-spike siya by 10% or 20% next week or next month tapos ibebenta mo na or i-withdraw mo na. Yung fourth learning ko or realization is more of a rant ulit. Pero bakit kaya walang other ETFs in the PSE? It's true that we only have one major index which is the PSEI, but we also have other smaller indices like mining, services, finance, and more. We also have MSCI, pero I haven't done enough research to understand about that, so we can disregard that. My point is, sana meron tayong other choices for ETFs, hindi lang si FMETF. For some context or for some comparison, the US have a lot of ETFs. Meron silang ETF na focus sa total stock market, meron ding focused on technology companies, meron ding ETF na focus on large caps. Actually, meron pa nga silang bagong ETF na focus sa pag-track ng price ng Bitcoin. Bakit kaya sa atin isa lang yung ETF? Sana lang dumami pa yung mga kababayan natin na investor sa PSE para naman may incentive mag-innovate yung finance industry natin. More financial literacy equals more investors, and more investors means more options for us, for everyone to grow their money. I'll see you on the next one. Bye!